God-level duplication system. Chapter 41. Severely wounded. Hoo-hoo. The cold gust of wind surged, blocking Zhang Mingliang in front, unable to advance an inch. Suddenly, Zhang Mingliang felt that the wind and waves in front of him dissipated. At the same time, Lin Xuan's figure appeared in front of him in a blink of an eye. A palm fell. Exhaust palm. It is still the same palm technique, and its power is not bad at all. But at this moment, Zhang Mingliang was in a hurry, but it was hard to resist. I can only block it subconsciously. But Lin Xuan was faster, dodging his arm and landed on his chest. Boom! There was a bang. Zhang Mingliang felt as if his chest had been hit by a boulder, and the pain was extremely severe. Wow! Unable to bear it any longer, he spat out a mouthful of blood, flying upside down like a rag bag for dozens of meters. When it hit the ground, there was a muffled sound, and a large cloud of dust was raised. At this moment, Zhang Mingliang's breath was weak, he vomited blood again and again, his chest was sunken a lot, and he was already seriously injured. Swish! Looking at this scene, the field fell into a dead silence for an instant. Everyone's expressions were dull, and they stood still, with disbelief in their eyes. After a few breaths, someone gradually reacted. Hiss! Suddenly, the sound of gasping for breath spread. The field also suddenly boiled up. Damn it, I'm not fucking dreaming, am I? The master of the outer sect, Zhang Mingliang of Qi Gathering Realm, lost like this? Isn't this too fake? Using the enlightenment state to surpass a large state and defeating the Qi Gathering state, isn't this too strong? This is not the number one potential in the outer sect, it is simply the first genius in the outer sect. Everyone was discussing and exclaiming again and again. His gaze was still focused on Lin Xuan, but it turned into endless shock and disbelief. Even if they come back to their senses now, they haven't weakened in the slightest. Before this betting battle, they all believed that Lin Xuan would lose. As a result, first Lin Xuan easily dodged Zhang Mingliang's violent attack with his body skills. In the next step, they were not optimistic and even thought that Lin Xuan would be seriously injured. Under the regret, Lin Xuan was fine, but Zhang Mingliang flew out and was seriously injured. Such a big gap is really unacceptable to them. At this moment, they couldn't help feeling unreal, as if they were dreaming. Because this scene is too unrealistic. The greater the enlightenment state, the greater the state and the defeat of the Qi Gathering state, and in turn seriously injured him. I am afraid that among the true disciples, the top 3 geniuses in the top 3 sects can do this kind of scene when they are in the enlightened state, right? Moreover, they are not as straightforward as Lin Xuan. After them, 4 or 5 years have passed, and no one can do it. But today it reappeared, and it was still a new disciple who had only been started for 3 days. How can they not be shocked, like a dream? On the other side, Zhang Mingliang's younger brothers were all scared to death. Even the boss was seriously injured, so he didn't dare to go forward to help him. He just stood there blankly, with a terrified expression on his face. They could never have imagined that they had previously forced Lin Xuan and the boss Zhang Mingliang to regret. It turned out that Lin Xuan was fine, but Zhang Mingliang was seriously injured. Zhang Tao among the crowd was even more trembling, frightened to the extreme. He never expected that Lin Xuan's talent once again exceeded his imagination, and was even more terrifying. Cousin Leon stayed in the Liuyan sect for several years and reached the Qi Gathering Realm's outer sect master. Under Lin Xuan's hands, he was so vulnerable. It is not as good as it is in terms of stature, and it cannot catch up. Unfortunately, he was also seriously injured. Such a scene made Zhang Tao terrified. Where is the potential first, the capital of true inheritance? It is simply a terrifying existence that is expected to become the top 3 in the true story. What does it mean to be the top 3 in the true biography? The current suzerain, the Great Elder and the Supreme Elder, these 3 are the strongest in the sect, and they are also the top powerhouses of the Kangyuan Kingdom today, and they were the top 3 in the true biography back then. One can imagine its significance. Thinking of this, Zhang Tao was even more shocked. At the same time, the fear and remorse are even more serious. With such a powerful talent, Lin Xuan's future achievements are limitless. This kind of top talent is no longer a question of whether he can provoke it. But his entire family cannot afford to be provoked. When Lin Xuan grows up, he doesn't need to grow up completely. As long as he has a little achievement, with a wave of his hand, he may be able to destroy his family and the so-called rich family in the county behind him. If he knew that he had offended a top talent with unlimited potential like Lin Xuan, he might hand over his son-in-law immediately and pulled out his father's position as the head of the family, knocked down his family, demoted the direct line, and begged Lin Xuan's forgiveness. Thinking of these, Zhang Tao felt extremely regretful. Why did he act impulsively and provoke such a terrifying guy like Lin Xuan just because of a little face problem? If it was because of himself that his family, father, and the whole family were thrown into the abyss, he would have committed a serious crime. Immediately, Zhang Tao suppressed the fear in his heart and walked towards Lin Xuan. He couldn't care less about face anymore. He was going to beg Lin Xuan to forgive him. Even if Lin Xuan humiliated him, he would bear it, just to resolve the grievances of these few times. Otherwise, I would be a family sinner. Moreover, what would he be without the support of his family? Face will no longer exist. At this moment, Lin Xuan didn't know that his performance shocked everyone on the field. But looking at the rapidly increasing attribute panel in the attribute panel, Lin Xuan nodded in satisfaction. Immediately, he walked towards Zhang Mingling, who was lying on the ground not far away, breathing weakly and still vomiting blood. It's time for him to get his bet back. As for Zhang Mingling's miserable end, Lin Xuan didn't feel the slightest fluctuation in his heart. When he regretted it before, Zhang Mingling didn't hold back from him at all. It even increased the strength in the back. For this kind of guy, he would not be polite. With one palm down, without keeping his hand, he seriously injured the opponent in an instant. Of course, he still didn't hit his heart. Otherwise, this palm is enough to shatter his heart and kill him on the spot. There are regulations in Liuyun sect, small and big troubles, competitions are fine. But if he dared to kill someone, he would be severely punished. After all, the Liuyun sect is not a demonic sect, and what they pay attention to is survival of the fittest, but fair competition. That's why Lin Xuan didn't end up with the other party. In addition, the two sides are just a small conflict, not a life and death enmity, and he has no need to kill him. Immediately, under the attention of everyone on the field, Lin Xuan came to Zhang Mingling's side and said calmly, "Zhang Mingling, where's my spoils? Take it out." Ahem. Seeing Lin Xuan approaching, Zhang Mingling couldn't help coughing twice and spit out a big mouthful of blood. Fear flashed in his eyes. How could he not be afraid of top geniuses who could crush him in the enlightened state? Hearing this, Zhang Mingling endured the severe pain in his body and wiped the storage ring with his fingers. 3 small thumb-sized stones emitting a faint light landed in front of Lin Xuan,